Recently, I came across this particular video on World Star Hip Hop with an Afro Dominican lady, very attractive, who had something controversial to say. And of course, this has been a big argument on this channel, other channels, and that is, are Dominicans black? And of course, there are several people out there who have their own opinions, including somebody like this.
Do you not like it when people who look just like us but maybe different, ethnicities or different mixtures?
Yeah, like Dominicans.
Like, do you not like when they claim like their other side, or like I'm just as Dominican as I am
in this
black,
country? Your black ass is black. You over there, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be. But when you here, the in charge do not want to hear. Now you just want no Spanish speaking.
Dominicans, dark-skinned Dominicans, they do not feel like they are black.
They might be black, but their culture isn't what. Like, for one, we're not black. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're African American. Like, we're not black. So their culture,
I'm a
Black.
See, I'm joking. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, even though Dominicans are black, you know what I'm saying? Like, their culture is different.
So you're saying?
But I want to get into her opinion, because that is the most important thing of today's episode. Let's play her clip, and then we're going to come back.
Reminder that Dominicans are not black. We are not black, and no matter how much black Americans cry about it, we are not black. We will never be black. Yes, I look black, but we are not black. And it's just a reminder to black Americans who are so pathetically forcing Dominicans to label themselves as black. Will we keep telling them we have our own culture? Me no black, papi. They still force it on us. So just a reminder, Dominicans are not black, period.
So we've heard what she had to say. Hey, African Americans, we have our own culture. We are not black. We look black, but we are not black. Okay, now I'm not sure if she means that her ancestry doesn't come from Africa. She probably won't deny that. But as far as black, she is not black. She's Dominican. This is similar to what Cameron said, more similar as to he's not African, right? Let's go ahead and play that clip.
Honest with you. I'm be totally honest with you. And I know we got to get back to our topics. We already a few minutes in. I'd rather feeling black than African American, because Africans don't even f with us.
Wow.
Because they don't.
And Americans do?
Well, you're American, Mace. You're born in America. When you go to the Olympics, and when I say African American, you go over there, they call us Yankees and all that. They f with us, but we're not from the motherland. We're from America. So I'd rather say I'm a black American. When we go to the Olympics as a country and somebody black is fighting from the United States, you don't say African American, you say American. You don't even put a color on it. It's an American fighter fighting a European fighter, or China or Japanese or anything. You're known in the Olympics as an American. It doesn't matter what color you are. You're an American fighting against somebody from Cameroon or Senegal, whatever. The point being is they don't categorize it when it's world competition, but when it's other shit, it needs to be categorized. So I consider myself a black American. I don't consider myself African American. And shout out to all my Africa, much love. But y'all don't consider us real Africans.
So all of these are very interesting positions, very interesting perspectives. But I want to talk about something that is a personal experience. All right, I'm going to give you two examples. I went to Poland not as a person who believed in a level of a concept of Pan-Africanism. That really wasn't me. I still had a yearning of knowledge of Africa and of our people as a whole. I was very interested in neo-colonialism, interested in the civil rights struggles and stuff like that. And I'm not much of a historian, but I did like to hear people talk about it and research it myself as I had time. However, when I went to Poland, I had a situation where one day I was walking down the street with a good buddy of mine by the name of Abraham. Walking down the street, this is the first day or two within Poland. I had briefly met him at an inauguration in Virginia. So we went from Virginia, we came to Poland. So we decided at that time that we would be roommates. Now, after understanding that, what we did, we were going to Tesco. Anybody that lives in the UK or Europe, you're very aware of Tesco. Now, going to Tesco, as we were walking, this car of Polish men drove by, and they shouted the N-word. Right? This is what they shouted. You, N-I, whatever. So of course, being from America, I understood what that meant, what they're trying to say, and all of that. But at the same time, let me make the connection. I know that the African guy and me, to him, we're the same. So these white guys are not saying, well, you're from America and you're from Ivory Coast. That's not what they're getting at. Both of y'all are black. We don't want you here. Go back. All right. Now, okay, that was my first enlightening of where I was as a black American US citizen, right? Let me give you a second story before we get to the third. I was briefly in Poland once Ukraine and Russia went to war. Now, once Ukraine and Russia went to war, they were threatening to invade, coming through Ukraine and coming into Poland. I live not so far from a city called Lviv. Great city. I've vlogged about it, been there twice. One of my favorite places in the world. Won't be going back anytime soon, but love the place. Would actually live there. All right. Now, let us continue in this. So I saw how they were treating the Africans in Ukraine. My mother told me, she said, look, son, you need to leave Poland, go back to Africa. I was like, Mom, if anything happens, I can just go to the U.S. Embassy and, hey, I'll come back to America. Now, this is me. I'm doing very well now. I'm having the best money of my life. My mom said, son, none of that matters when you're black. You're still black. When shit hits the fan, you're black. You need to leave and go there now. I couldn't argue the point. She's right. Third story. I've talked to people who are Dominican, who speak Spanish. People that have her same attitude. We're not black, we're Dominican, right? But you speak Spanish. So when you're not black, you're Dominican. That matters when you're talking to blacks. But I noticed that argument doesn't matter when you're talking to whites. So when you go to Spain, and there are many Dominicans who go to Spain, it makes sense. Spain was their colonial master. They speak Spanish. Well, when they come into Spain, what do the Spanish call them? The Spanish people don't say, those are Dominican. They don't say that. Those are blacks. She's an African. And every view that they have negative about blacks, you get to participate in that particular mindset. You're participating in that stereotype regardless of how you see yourself. And sometimes we need to be honest about how the world sees us. We want to act like they don't see us in that way, but look, it matters. How people see you matters. Now, how you see yourself matters too, but if people look at you as being black, it doesn't matter that you don't feel like you're black, because when it comes time to employment, when it comes time to dating, when they look at what their kids are gonna look like outside of maybe the Dominican community, you're going to be a black person, period, right? And the only people that you're probably gonna be able to depend on when you go to Germany, and I've seen so many folks get their wake-up call in Europe is crazy. Guess who you start hanging around? Blacks. Look, this was me. You couldn't call me African to save you my life, although I would admit my lineage is there. My features are too strong, right? So I always knew I was black. But once I got to Poland and Europe, guess who my friends were? Shout out to brother Nee Adder Big Bay. One of my good friends to this day, okay? Love the brother. And then I started participating in Africa Day, which is something I do now because of him. I started participating in things that supported African causes because I started to realize that when they say we don't like the blacks, they talking about us. They talking about me. They talking about you. They talking about Ghanaians. They talking about Jamaicans. And even that sister over there, that black Dominican sister, they talking about her too. No, regardless of how she see herself, they're talking about that sister too. And we need to be honest about that. Cameron can say, look, hey, I'm an American. They don't really mess with us like that. Bruh, we all know that blacks are discriminated as much as when an African guy, if he got a backwards hat on or a suit, it don't matter. They pull him over unless he start talking. He getting the same thing too, and still will get the same thing because of who he is. So we gotta start to understand that. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shady Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.